internationally awarded leadership and communication coach, and I am here live most Tuesday mornings at 11 a.m. Australian Eastern Daylight Time, which is Sydney time. So today I'm really honoured because I'm joined by a glorious friend of mine. He's someone that I hold in really high esteem. His name is Anurag Sahai. And Anurag's here to talk with us about leadership and communication. And he brings with him more than 17 years experience in banking technology. He's worked with renowned global banks like Citibank, the Dutch Bank, and Standard Chartered. I'm reading this now. And he's worked across Southeast Asia, Africa, Europe, and the USA, leading teams of up to and over 150 professionals. And what's really awesome about the teams that he's led is that they've had really diverse technical and cultural backgrounds. I love having conversations with Anurag because he's all about leadership, and he sees it as a blend of a range of different things. And this is what he'll share with us in a moment. So after his corporate life, and we can ask him about this, but after his corporate life, Anurag has now shifted to following his hobby on a full-time basis. And he works with individuals and companies developing thought leaders through real mind mastery and an inner awakening. So welcome, Anurag. I'm so excited to have you here with us today.
Thank you, Beth. So kind of you. First of all, Indian way, I like to say namaste to you all and bow down to the divine in all of you. So namaste.
Thank you. So, like today, as you know, we're here to talk about leadership and communication. So, the first question I have for you is what does leadership actually mean for you?
But it's a good question because this is the question which we all um, were discussing as a managers
Mm,
when in corporate. So there is a everybody knows that now, but we all like leadership and management is two different things in corporate
mm,
because managers, some of the managers they think they are leaders, but they are not. They are just managing the time, money, and resources. That's not leadership.
mm,
Leadership goes beyond that. It's like a mindset. It has leaders are the people who can see differently. They have a vision. This vision is not forced attempt of vision or a borrowed one.
mm,
This vision comes from a mindset. We can call it resourceful mindset or
mm,
a mindset of a cause or a creator, not a victim mindset.
mm,
So, as a leader, they perceive situations differently and they tackle or solve the situations differently. Um, Leaders create, so they create their own path and they are committed to that path. The commitment is they're true to their commitment, they're true to that path. And the second thing which comes with leader is that they have an ability to convince the people to follow in this
mm.
path.
I
So they
love that. Yeah.
so they are good communicators like you. And they lead others to success in this path. And this is what every leader does. Now, by looking at this, you might think that leadership is needed only by the corporate or business houses, but it is not.
Mm,
It is required for family and day-to-day life also.
love
Like
that.
parents are leading their children.
Mm,
um, in partnership, one takes a lead for certain occasions and other takes a lead for another occasion. So
yeah.
leadership is a given thing. Even choosing and ordering for people on a table, it's a leadership thing.
Mm,
Even in spirituality, when you go and you look into, it's a leadership thing that you choose certain aspects for your life.
mm-hmm.
So this is all about leadership, like as a team leader also, which we call bosses or managers or the superiors. But actually in team also, You have to take care of different needs of your team members. The same way in a family, you have to take care of different people differently, because everybody's aspirations are different. In teams, some of your colleagues like to have money more. Some
Mm,
people like to be better work to be done given to them, or some people like recognition. Some people like opportunities, different
yeah,
opportunities. Same way at a home or in a family, also in a community, everywhere you need to take care of an individual separately, and that understanding
yeah.
is given by the leaders.
So
So
leadership. So what you're saying is that leadership isn't just a tool or a way of behaving that we pull out because we're in the workplace. We're actually leaders all the time.
yes, leaders are all the time leader. They are
Yeah.
they are very different people. If you look at it in this aspect, because leader inspire people, leader. But if you look at human child also from a childhood itself, we are following some people.
Mm,
A very small child, as a kid, we are following first our parents, and then they are our heroes, role models, and then we have our teachers whom
mm,
we follow, and then we have our friends whom we follow. So they we learn through experience. So if our leaders, the first one of the leadership good qualities of leader is that a person should be true to what he's doing.
mm,
So they're walking the path of what they're saying.
yeah.
So if because people follow from the childhood, as a human psyche, we follow people, uh, what they do, we do not follow what they say.
Mm,
So if like you're walking the path, then people will follow you. That's one of the biggest things in leaders, which happens because they inspire others to achieve higher goals in life.
mm,
So they live by example. So this is one of the things that people have to understand. You have to
mm.
walk the path. So this is a mindset of walking your own path. Otherwise, you can't do it. You can't fake it.
And so, what would naturally fall out of that belief then is that there are opportunities every single day for us at any given age, no matter what our role or our responsibility in our employment is. We can choose to be a leader in our community when we're not necessarily in a leadership role at work. We can choose and may be a leader in our family, but that would be quite different. So
Yes.
we can all be leaders. It's
We
choice.
if you look at it, we are all leaders in certain
Mm,
situations of life.
mm,
It's a belief that we think that we are not leaders.
yeah.
We all are leading. We give more credit to those who are leading in many aspects of life. That's
Hmm.
the reason we say leaders, or we call politician leaders because they are leading the country or leading the
Mm.
society in a different democratic way.
I love that. Yeah, that's a so it's almost like I'm just thinking about the terminology that I use. It's I talk about self-leadership, and a really important component of leadership is we have to start by leading ourselves, and that's about understanding who we are, so that's self awareness, but then being prepared to manage ourselves. So we've got to think about how we manage our moods, our attitude, our behaviors, developing habits that are going to serve us. But also, and this is where you're talking about the mindset, it's that growth mindset, that willingness to be open for the opportunities and to learn new things. I love that.
Yes.
Okay, so I'm interested because and I think this is a particularly important question when what you're saying is that the opportunities exist for us to be leading any time. If and we may have aspiring leaders who are going to listen to this. Are there two traits or characteristics that you believe aspiring leaders would benefit from developing. They might not have the leadership role at work, but as we've already identified, there are all these other opportunities in their whole life to be a leader. So, what are two behaviors or traits or characteristics?
So to answer your question, it is hidden in the first answer itself that leaders are supposed to be aware.
Mm,
Aware, their awareness should be high. They are, if you look at the leaders, established leaders, sorry, they have very acute observation power. They observe not only their field of work, they also observe how the world is moving, the other fields, what are the innovations happening on the other side. So very keen observer. Even you're sitting at home, you can observe people around you, what is needed when it is needed, because you have to act. Leaders
mm,
act, right? So how you know when to act if you're not aware and you're not observing what is going around? Like
yeah.
you're a parent and you're responsible of your kids, and if you're not aware where kids are going, what they're talking, what they're doing, you're not keeping an observing them, you do
Mm,
not know when they need whatever they need. So their needs can be fulfilled only by observing and becoming aware. And it is a big thing that awareness practice people do not do, and they just copy certain things in their life and they think they're leaders. That should not be done. So awareness is one of the big things people should go
know
for
that.
and
Yeah.
observe. The second thing is integrity. They should have integrity. So when they commit to something, their thoughts are there, then that's what they should speak and that's what they should act on.
Mm,
So that integrity is what, see, people can inspire some of some of the people for some time.
mm,
They can fake it and they can inspire, but inspiring goes beyond that. If you really want to create an impact on people and you want to lead people from the front and you want people to follow you, you should walk your own path. So you should be believing in what you are doing and you should be doing what you're saying. Otherwise people will find that disparity, and they will, everybody knows your for they will see the fault lines in your
mhm.
character or in your work. So it's a beautiful thing that people, it's even your enemies or people who oppose you will respect you if you are on what you, if your integrity is high.
Yeah.
And it is very difficult to resist a leader whose integrity is very high. So it is an impact, it's like a psychological impact on the psyche of other person when somebody in front of him is in integrity and walking the path what he's talking and
Mm,
walking the path. So the same thing happens. So I think these are the awareness and integrity are the two things which is important for leader, because it also creates trust in people. Trust is the
yeah.
biggest thing for any leader.
I really that kind of awareness and integrity is one of my highest values, and so I go for that every single time. And sometimes it gets me into trouble, sometimes it's actually um I've got so caught up in what I see as a lack of integrity that it pulls me away from the actual task that I'm supposed to be doing. So I've had a couple of really awesome life lessons around that. um, I particularly like your observation that observation and awareness are really important behaviors or characteristics to develop, because I see over and over again that there's less and less um, actual observation skills. It's not something that it's easy to teach,
Yes.
I know that particularly when so many of us now are in industries where we're required to observe a whole lot more. If you're in the health industry, for example, or community services as a support worker or any of those things, and you're leading in those roles, you have to have exceptional observation skills. And
Yes.
we can't always rely on someone coming to tell us. We need to start. I talk to my coaching clients about start noticing what you're noticing, because that will make a massive difference for you.
Okay.
So that's those two things. I really like that awareness and integrity. When you think about these aspiring leaders, Anurag, is there one thing that they might benefit from being less of?
Okay. Some of people might not like what I'm going to say, but I have to tell. I call it IK syndrome. I know syndrome. If you have this IK syndrome, means I know. As soon as you get into some meeting, instead of observing silently, looking at people, understanding what is happening around you, instead of developing your awareness, you get into this IK syndrome that I know it all. So that gets into trouble. So that somebody has to get rid of, because all good leaders never assume that they know everything. But yes, as we spoke just a few minutes back, that they have the aptitude to learn, to grow,
Yeah.
to new things, right? Like even like coaches, we all go into to learn again. We go and join some courses to learn again, right?
Hmm.
Why? To keep us updated, and we know that to know the new links and things which are happening around us. Um, it is like if you look at the already established leaders, they are learning from anyone and everyone. It's like from young or old, friend or colleague, religion or gurus, science or friction, whatever they get learning from, they take it. Like if you know that Steve Jobs went to India for to meet Neem Karoli Baba to understand different aspect of life.
Mm,
So it's, and he was total scientist person, and he went to a religious guru to understand something. So it
mm,
is the greatness of the person is that how open the person is to understand a different viewpoint and find out, observe and understand what is new in it, what
mm.
the other person newly giving. Even a child can give you a beautiful understanding of certain.
Yeah. What's really interesting is that the first time that that hits for many people is when they go into the workforce after they've got a university degree and they come out. Many people come out of university thinking, I'm awesome. I'm way up here. I'm going to be really good at this. And everyone says, you don't know anything, kid. And they kind of go, but I do. I've got this degree. And everyone says, you don't know anything, kid. And yeah, I talk a lot about how we have to be open to looking at new perspectives. And this is what I hear you saying, open to these new perspectives and new ways of doing things. We also have to be willing to unlearn what we already know.
Yes, uninstall the old
Yeah,
applications and
yeah,
install the new ones.
yeah. Give that a miss and actually be open to what's new. Um, yeah, so many different perspectives. And if you close your mind, particularly as a leader, I think personally as a human being, but particularly because we're talking about all of us being leaders all the time, as a human being, I think it makes it really difficult for you to even identify new opportunities. They just might not come your way.
Yeah.
Yeah, wonderful. Really like that. Um, I also talk a lot with my clients, and this is something that I've had to work on for myself over the years. I don't have to be right now.
Yes. True.
I can be right later.
And it is nothing wrong in accepting that, humbly accepting that I don't know.
Uh,
I don't know what I don't know. It avoids a lot of mistakes.
Yeah, that's a conversation for a whole new leadershipization because I've always been very comfortable saying I don't know.
Yes, I have
And
seen it.
and and at various times, thank you. At various times, I've had people higher up the tree or at the same level or up an organization say to me, don't tell anybody that you don't know. And I'm going, but I don't know. And they say, oh, well, no. Then they think that you are less than them, or they see you as being vulnerable. And I'm quite comfortable about that. So when you think about, like, I love this 17 plus years experience in banking. You've lived and worked all over the world with lots of different technology, and now you're almost moving into this, mind mastery and inner awakening, and working with individuals and teams doing that. When you think back, was there like a sliding doors moment in your leadership journey that meant that you changed the way that you were doing things or moved in a different direction?
Yep. In my leadership, when I was leading a big bank acquisition program, uh, it's never happens. Sliding door moment happens, but it
Mm,
never happens in one shot. It actually happens. You can take. There's a limit to everybody's patience. That after that something snaps or that sliding moment.
mm,
So I was doing some work, and it was very hectic. We were working a lot, and there was immense pressure from with the business side and other places. And I can take that much only. And that's the time when somebody was very disrespectful towards me,
yeah,
and he was talking about something, one of the so-called bosses. So I suddenly that sliding door happened, and then I understood that everybody is working towards the success of the thing, but this person who so-called is a manager or higher word, he is not working towards making things successful. He's just blaming and
yeah,
doing something. And so I stopped taking him seriously immediately, and that's how my leveling mind happened from that moment, that
mm,
everybody's equal, nobody's higher or lower, everybody is equal. And that leadership understanding that I can talk to anyone and convince that person, whether he or she and is maybe seniorly posted than me. uh, that sliding moment happened, and suddenly it turned a good leaf from me, that I became more easygoing, more challenging, and more accepting
mm,
people as equals. And that gave me a, then suddenly I became a really very good leader, that I can stand up for my team, I can stand up for myself in front of whosoever it is. Doesn't matter to me, that his pedigree doesn't matter to me. That's what my sliding
So
door.
that's kind of like please correct me if I'm wrong, but it feels to me like what you're saying is, um, I stepped into my role as a leader. I recognize, and I
Yes.
love that because I talk to my clients about that all the time. I realized that instead of just lying down and letting this person dictate what was going to happen, it was actually my responsibility to say, hey, wait a minute. This is what I believe is appropriate for my team in this circumstance. So let's talk about that.
Yes, true. I that day I truly became a from manager to a leader. That's
Mm,
what is sliding door moment for me, and it was a beautiful moment. Not in a positive way. It was a lot of pressure on me,
yep,
emotional challenge. But suddenly, I think enough is enough. I have to make sure that detach from this hierarchy consciousness and
yep.
this bullying type of understanding, that people are not able to understand what you and your team is going through. Stand up in your role as a leader.
Yeah. Put your hand up. Okay. Wow. I've taken so much from our conversation. Like I've written some things. Leadership is different from managing. We have our leaders have a mindset. They have a bit of a vision. They've got the ability to influence and convince others to follow them. And that the opportunity to lead exists for all of us all the time, all around us, in our community, in our family, in our partnerships, in our most intimate relationships. Um, I really resonated with this observation awareness. Notice what you're noticing, and to develop your integrity, but also to be aware that there is much more to learn. Yeah, you're not going to stop learning. And if you close your mind with this thing of, I know, you don't have to tell me I'm the expert, it shuts out all sorts of possibilities. And yeah, great sliding moment, because for many leaders, particularly people who are not used to leading in other areas of their life, if they get that job title in their workplace, sometimes they have imposter syndrome. Sometimes they don't feel comfortable with it. I really love that. Thank you. That it's been a very stimulating conversation. If people want to know more about what you do, I mean, Anurag runs the most amazing meditation sessions. He does those each Saturday evening, um, online. There's lots of other things that he does. How would people connect with you, Anurag?
Just remember my name, Anurag Sahai, and you can write it on anuragsahai.com. And you can email me at anurag@anuragsahai.com. So it's just my name, full name, and you can find me very easily. Or you want to say, find yourself with Anurag Sahai, Anurag, find yourself with Anurag. That is also my hashtag for Instagram and my Facebook. So you can find me there.
Yeah, awesome. Thank you. It's been my absolute pleasure to have you join me in Leadershipization. You are my number two guest,
Thank you, Beth.
which is fantastic. I've got some other great guests coming up as we continue with this. Thank you, everyone. If you watch this live, put live. If you are watching it on replay, we love it if you put hashtag replay so that we know that you've watched it. If you have any questions or comments to make, we're really open to hearing that feedback. So let us know. If you pop a question in the comment wherever you're watching this, we will get back to you. One or both of us will get back to you to help you to understand and to give some insight into your question. In the meantime, I will see you here again next Tuesday. Um, 10 a. Oh no, I'm in Queensland. 11 a.m. Sydney time, Australian Eastern Daylight Time. If you are off to a Melbourne Cup luncheon today, I'm off to a charity luncheon shortly. Enjoy yourself. I wish you all the best. Thank you very much.
Thank you
Bye
very
now.